Hey guys, John Moon here with the Stock Market Series podcast. I am super pumped today to talk to you about a stock that went up 75% today, which was crazy because it started out only up 10% after it like 9:30, 10 o'clock. So like that's pretty much all profit, which is actually really rare. And also a fun little trading day making 8%. And a really great principle that came out of the trade-off I made with these trades today. So super pumped to talk about it. I think it's a really important principle and one that's like absolutely critical when we're starting out. So with that said, I will see you guys after the intro. So the big question is this: how do investors like us, who don't have a PhD in finance or millions to start investing, how do we grow our bank accounts to build real savings in retirements and yet still have the time to do what we really love? That is the question, and this podcast will give you the answer. Okay, awesome. I'm so excited. So this morning was just like, oh my God, so amazing. There was a lot of stuff shorts, a lot of stuff long. I was trading in the Roth this morning, which means no shorts, which is something that, obviously comes with having a cash account since IRAs are all pretty much cash accounts. But we still had an amazing day. There was a great wedge setup and it was just super fun. We're up like 4% today on two trades, which was all of the trades that I had for today. So since the Roth, it's under the PDT rule and you can't do more than like 3-day trades per rolling 5 business days. But anyway, I want to talk to you guys today about this position that was, it was like TLSA. It was like sort of like Tesla, except the S and the L were kind of swapped, which I thought was kind of cool. And the thing went up like, it was crazy. So what happened is I was making the one trade I made today that was like super great at like 10:20. And while I was making this trade at 10:20, like I put all my focus, all my attention, all my energy, like everything I had into this one investment. And I stopped looking at my other monitors, stopped looking at my other screens, stopped looking at my other tickers, and stopped focusing on other opportunities. And at the exact same time that I was making that trade, this other stock that It basically what happened is it started up 10%. It went up like 15% on the day, and then it came back down. And this is usually 15, 20%, 25% at its highs when you would like see it on the screener, right? But I wasn't focusing on the screener. And so it went up a whole bunch and it came back down. It was basically just like a perfect ABCD setup. Like there was this massive spike up on the A. And with ABCD setups, like you want to trade the continuation, right? You want to trade the C to the D and it continues and you make a bunch of money on the upside on the ABCD setup. And what happened is like the A is usually when it comes onto your screener, but I wasn't looking at the screener because I was in a trade, which was a big mistake because the stock trends down, and the trade that I was in lasted about 10 minutes, and the ABCD setup on this trade was also like about 10 minutes, and so there wasn't really any time. Like as soon as I finished the one trade I was going back to the screener and I found the stock, and it like already completed the ABCD setup, and it had like reached the exact target that it had based off of the setup, at the top of the D, and it went up like 35%. It was really good. And so like I totally missed the whole trade because I wasn't focused on other opportunities. I didn't know what other opportunities there were because I wasn't focused on looking at the screener. There's probably like 7 stocks on that screener. And so it wouldn't take that long to go through it. It's really basic. You just have to go through the process. And at the time I was just still trading the pre-market gainers. And so it's really foundational and extraordinarily critical that like whenever you're trading, you can work up to this point. And obviously some people, if you only have like one monitor, it's a little more difficult. But like for me, like I'll try to be able to keep like 2, 3, or 4 positions open at the same time, because you'll have stuff, especially like early in the morning, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, where you're going to have 2, maybe 3, maybe 4 stocks that are all going like absolutely berserk at the exact same time. And it's really critical that you're able to capitalize on that by having multiple positions up at the same time. And so that's why, like, when you set up your software, you want to make sure that you have multiple order windows. You want to make sure you have multiple buy buttons. You want to make sure you have multiple, level 2s, because you want to be able to get into multiple trades at the same time in case something like this happens where maybe one trade you're in was up 10%, but another trade you're in, this stock actually continued to keep going up after it hit the D target on the ABCD setup. Went up another 30%, went up, like I said, 70% on the day, about 60% net return if you get in at the breakout on the ABCD setup. And so like that's like 10 times, maybe 15 times what the other stock went up. But like you don't know that like when you're going into it. Like you just have to make your investments and then set your stop losses and have your profit targets. And for me, like I already made this one investment, I already ran out of day trades, so it was like I wasn't physically able to But that's not the point. The point is to make sure that you have the options. The point is to know your options. And it's not just day trading. It's also long-term investing. It's also, swing trading. I know in economics, I can't believe I'm taking economics. They're like forcing me to take it. It's, whatever. And we're learning for like the 10th time, like the idea of like opportunity cost. And this idea that like, you put, however much money into a position, like what's the opportunity cost of that money? What else could you have invested in? And, like if I put $1,000 or $10,000 or if I $100,000 in U.S. treasuries, like what's the opportunity cost of that? Well, if you look at like average historic stock market returns, there's like 8% a year over the long term. If you look at like any day trading ever, like I can make, what do they pay like 2% today? Right now, like I made 8% today. So that's like quadruple what I would make in a year with that kind of investment just by, taking it into my own hands. And so it's, it's really, really critical that you sort of understand the cost of like the opportunities that you have, and then also make sure that you know what the opportunities are. Because if I know so many people, I remember this one girl, she was like 60, I think she was about 60, approaching retirement. She goes to this wealth manager and she has like hundreds of thousands of dollars in U.S. savings bonds for like decades of her life, which like if you guys have read 9 to Noon, you know that is insanely crazy, just like ridiculous, and one of the silliest things that you could ever freaking do. And yet it happened. Why? Because she didn't know her option. She didn't know that there was a different kind of investment she could make that would yield like much better returns. She didn't have that financial education. So it's really, really critical that not only with like long-term stuff, but also short-term stuff, like both of them, like everything that you do, that you always know all the investment options so you can make the best investment possible and, not invest in the stock that goes up 8% when there's one that's going to go up 80%. And so that's the big message today. That's the big goal today. One of the best things you can do to like actually achieve that is to have more screens, have more monitors. For day trading, for long-term investing, it's just investing a little bit more time into your research and understanding just a little bit more what is actually out there. It's kind of a lot of what I talk about in the first part of 9 to Noon. Should kind of reveal pretty much everything that you need to know about that. So that's the message for today, guys. I hope you got a ton of value out of this podcast. Go out there, apply it, absolutely crush it. And I will see you guys in the next episode. Thank you. Bye. Want more stock market secrets? If so, you'll get your free copy of my best-selling book, 9 to Noon. You get your free copy plus $11,176 of unannounced bonuses. It took me years to uncover, completely for free at 9tonoonsecrets.com. Inside 9 to Noon, you'll find the top 38 secrets you can use to double your portfolio every 2 years and make upwards of 10% daily.